Hey, you're out in the garage with TheEZGZ. It's Monday. You're not going to believe this. Oh, you ain't going to believe this. It was Friday that I did that repair on the oil pump, and Saturday I got everything put on and went to Heartbreak Hill, and I'll show you a clip of what happened up there. Basically, the engine can't cut it at 2,000 RPM, and I went back yesterday and hit it at 40 miles an hour, which was 2,500 RPM, and it just took off like a rocket. So that 400 RPM really did make a difference. And of course, when I got up Saturday morning, we're still on the same day, back up, beep, beep, beep. I had filled it with oil, and no drips underneath it, nothing crazy. And then yesterday I got the call to go on a ride, and so ended up probably putting 100 miles so far on the engine. And it's Monday, and I thought, gee, that was so much fun. And yesterday I was gonna let the engine cool off after I got home, and I was going to take those 1.25 rockers off, but I got to editing the video and I was tired, and I thought, nah, I'm not going to do that. And I had taken the valve covers off because I wanted to see how loose the rockers were and stuff when it was warm. And then later on I just said, nah, I'll just do it in the morning. The sun was shining in the garage. It was hot, and I thought morning it'll be cool and shady in here, and I'll just sit down and get a good night's rest. So I come out thinking to myself, gosh, it's such a nice day, and I had so much fun yesterday. I should just go someplace. I want to go fishing. You know, it was so pretty up there in the mountains. I wouldn't even mind doing that same ride again by myself at my own pace. And so I thought, you know, I had a nice breakfast. I think I'll just walk around the block and get started. So, I always tell you guys the truth, right? I don't hold nothing back. This is not a fake channel, and I don't brag, and I try to be humble. And I came out. What the hell? What the heck? I had the valve covers off for like 2 hours, maybe. And there wasn't a puddle on the floor or in the valve covers. And I just took the screwdriver, I got the stock valve covers, and I just snapped them back on. And I come out, and I got this puddle of oil. And it's like, well, what happened? What the heck happened? And I don't believe it's from the pump. I think our little stud repair, I ran him in far enough, and then with these sealing nuts and using that high-tech sealer, and, you know, that's typical. I'm not even concerned about that. I mean, I expect my engines to leak, and that's just the way it is. There's a little bit. Oh, I was gonna tighten the. See, I had a whole list of things I was gonna do tomorrow, but with that 6 o'clock phone call, I just said the heck with it. But it appears something happened overnight after I put the valve covers on. I don't have that high of an oil level where it would. And when I had the valve covers off for 2 hours, why didn't it start dripping then? It's like, oh man, now what? It's not the push rod tubes on that side, although these look a little damp on this side. Then I know I didn't overheat it, and I shot it with the temp gun. So I'm not really discouraged. I'm just puzzled. I'm just sort of puzzled. What Where did that oil? Did one of you guys come over here in the middle of the night and pour some oil under my engine? That's the kind of friends I have. Oh, where's that screwdriver that I had? Let me pop that valve cover. Man, this is just... And this, every time you do a bunch of stuff to your engine, I always... Oh, that didn't feel right. That wasn't even seated. Did you hear that pop? I didn't have the valve cover on and I had the bail on. I hope I didn't... Oh. Oh, here's something else I wanted to show you. I put these little super magnets on there. Look at that stuff. What is that? That's dark. Is that engine in solution form? Is something eating itself up? Do I have a problem here? Well, I was going to change this rocker shaft and put stock rockers on it, so that's no big deal. See, it's not in there. Wonder if it's that damn powder coating. These were the new replacement valve covers, and they came with their bails. The old bails would not work, not one single one of them. So there's a different dimension here. This is narrower, and by having that powder coating on the inside, I don't care how tough that stuff is. You're supposed to transfer heat. This is an important part of your oil cooling, is to radiate heat off of that thing. It always cracks me up when I see these advertisements for those $800 exhaust systems with a muffler coming back and forth here on this side, right next or below the valve cover, you know, for a stock sedan. And it's like, who the hell would want that kind of heat right by 1 and 2? We always have a problem with 3 and 4 running a little hotter anyhow. So why would you screw up 1 and 2 side and put that huge muffler in there? I mean, it's probably got enough air blown by it when you're going down the highway, but man, it seems like I spend a lot of time at traffic lights, and that heat just, it traps the heat. It's really, really important to have good engine compartment seals in a stock sedan. It really is. But this is just, well, what's my dipstick look like? It's amazing how bad, for crying out loud. This is my guarantee that my dipstick will not pop out on the trail when you don't have all your tin on there. Oh, I wonder if, I don't think I overfilled it. I did add a little bit, but I thought I just brought it up to the full mark. That's over the... Oh! Ah! I know where it came from, guys. Son of a bitch. Ha! Mystery solved. Mystery solved. Anybody want to make a guess? I think I got it. I came home, parked the car, went inside, had a glass of water, came back out, popped the valve covers, kind of was feeling it. It was too hot to handle. So I thought, well, I'll leave it set. No oil there. Came out a couple hours later and thought, nah, I'll do it tomorrow. And there was nothing on the floor. And I just kind of hurriedly, I didn't want to leave the dust get in my engine overnight. So I just put the valve cover on and I didn't get it on properly. I could see it on the edge. It was hung up on this corner here, because there's where all the oil is. And with the back of the car up, but the oil level's below that, right? How could I be? I'll tell you why. Because the oil from these hoses and this filter. Now that's supposed to have a check valve, but evidently that flows back into the engine during the night, and then it went to that low point and there was a hole and it puked on the floor. Well, I feel better just thinking that. I guess we'll have to prove that theory, but I don't recall ever having that situation before. Now, I hooked the oil filter up just like that when I put the 1600 engine on, but we didn't have, we got old stock valve covers and bales and stuff, and it just stayed, must have stayed in there. Well, that's the only thing. Unless you guys came over and poured some oil in there. Now, I bet if I started it, the oil level would be low when we pulled the dipstick. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Hoo-hoo! That kind of... I didn't want to think that hard first thing in the morning. And the first thing I thought of was you guys, because there's so many of you that are in the middle of projects or waiting to see what's going to happen here with these world events. See those two paint chips in there? These are the valve covers I had on the 2-liter when I had the 1.4 ratio rockers and the studs broke and it slammed the rocker shaft. Yeah, I can see all that oil is down here in that corner. I did not have that corner on all the way. Now I'm going to have to... I hope I didn't bend or tweak the valve cover. I was... That should be good that way, huh? That should be good. Well, okay. We got to start the day with a little drama for you guys, right? Or whenever you're watching it. That's how my day started. I don't know how yours went. My goodness. That made me step back, though. I'll tell you, I thought, oh no. What now? So, first thing I'm going to do, and I'm not going to bore you with the details, I'll just give you the results. I'm going to set my dial indicator up on this frame. This just is the right spot to do that. And then I'm going to measure the lift of the valve, the stroke of the valve, with this set of 1.25s on there. And then I'm going to put 1.1s and measure again, just kind of curious of how much different that makes. And then probably I'll head over to Heartbreak Hill. And oh, by the way, the two guys in the buggies and the rare air ride, one had an Ecotech motor and the other one was running a 2110, and they both had the downshift on Heartbreak Hill. Yeah, I was going to try a little different approach and hit it at 500 more RPM, and I tried to lay back and wait, let them guys get ahead of me just so there wouldn't be a problem. And I did fine. I was accelerating on that first hill, holding my own and or accelerating, it seems like, and then I come over the first rise there, and that Ecotech is like what the hell's he stopped for? You know, I don't know. And he just finished that car with the Ecotech motor. He had a 1600 fuel injected motor in it, and he just wanted more power. And a little heavier car, a full length pan. So yeah, and I'm sure with that Ecotech and radiator and all that, bus transmissions. But yeah, those guys both struggled on that hill, so I didn't feel so bad. But this thing gets with the program on, and all I remember is before I took it out, and I think we're okay with as far as the oil pump leaking, because I don't think it was directly underneath there. But yeah, what a day. Always something. And then I was thinking about cutting the grass. Supposed to get up to like 85 today. So, alright guys, thought you'd like to see that. Whew. Out of breath just walking around the block. Man, this heart stuff is no good. But it's good to have some time to think and not jump to conclusions here. So evidently my backflow check valve in the oil filter is not working. And I also was thinking that Saturday, when I went to go ahead and get this thing set up, I had such a dilemma with these valve covers. If you guys will recall, this is why I ended up buying these expensive bolt-on valve covers, because these old German single port heads, no matter what I did, I could not get those things to seal. And I think I tried every valve cover I had, including the ones that were on the 1800 engine, and I ended up just throwing something on there because it was just sitting here on the back wall. And you can see this pile of stuff. I don't have garbage, I just have stuff. I have all these valve covers sitting right here, and I got my air compressor that's got a cooling blower. I've got my grinder right here. I'm always blowing out the shop, and I did wipe out those valve covers, so I'm pretty certain that that junk that was on the magnets, since those are so powerful, was just airborne stuff. I can feel grit on this one. That one was one of the ones that, oh yeah, it was the vented valve covers that were on the, oop. Yeah, not too proud of that. I gotta clean that up. That's a nice poster. But at any rate, I think that's what we're looking at. I didn't have the valve cover on properly. Didn't take the time to do it right because I was just covering it up knew I'd be attacking it this morning, and then seeing that and kind of set me back a little bit. So I really don't think the engine's grinding itself up, and so I'm gonna get started on that. And I'm trying to just chronologically take you through a day when we're not going on a ride. Well, it's almost noon. I cut the grass. I did the responsible thing. Yes, indeed. And now I got no energy left, but I got this much time from when the sun starts. It's going to be in the mid 80s today, probably 90 in the front here. So I got from that shadow line to the motor to make some progress here. Okay guys, this should eliminate the controversy once and for all of whether or not Volkswagen made a 1.25 ratio rocker. Now, in this corner we have the 1.11 that we're all familiar with, and you can see the stampings, VW, and so on and so forth on there. And you can see that the push rod cup is pretty well centered. Okay, now here is the 1.25. Now it's got that triple oh, what do they call it? It's the United European Auto or something like that on there. So it isn't Volkswagen, but it is European. And now when you look at the cup, you can see it looks like they did a poor job. Looks like they missed the hole. See how it's close to the edge on every one of those? It's off center. That's where they're tucking it in on this side, and it moves it farther on the opposite side. And I did do my check, and I don't know if these are set up perfectly, but instead of having the 450 lift, it had 425 lift. And somebody left a comment and said, you know, something about I'm not even I take that back. They were saying that it's going to affect the duration. Of course it's going to affect the duration. The camshaft lobe is an arc. It's a arc going to the tip. So if you shorten the travel, you're also going to change the duration. There's no way in hell that it's not. Now, let's take a look at the ends. I don't see any harm. Now this one I do feel something right here. These are heavy duty single springs, and I feel kind of a burr where this tip is getting pushed down against this aluminum, which tells me I should be using chromoly push rods if I want to keep it this way. I feel it on, I feel it on both the exhausts, but not so much on the intakes, but I really feel it on the exhausts. And that's because I've got the heavy-duty single springs. These are about 80 pounds heavier than the stock Volkswagen springs. Unnecessary spring pressure doesn't do you any good, but if you want to rev a Volkswagen engine past 4,500 RPM and not have your head self-destruct, you better have heavier springs than stock. These are Magnum 44 heads from CB Performance. They're probably 20 years old, 40 by 35. I've used these shims here, these 60,000 shims, to get that geometry right. So I have no idea if this is going to work. This is just a quick setup for me. This is the rocker assembly with the swivel foot tips that we had on, and I used I just have to see where the thread count comes out, so I'm going to try it, and I need both hands, and I'm sure you understand. I don't think this is going to work with those wave washers in there, but I want to try it, and I want to get a measurement and see what I get for overall lift with these. I do have chromoly push rods, so that's no big deal. And hopefully the whole purpose of me doing this is to try to bring back a little bit of bottom end closer to 2000. But like I may have mentioned in a earlier video this morning, I went back up there with two of my friends, hit that hill at 2500 RPM, and it just climbed. It held its own on the first one and then took off, accelerated on that top section. So two guys were with me. One guy had an Ecotech on a bus tranny, the other guy had a 2110 on a bus tranny, and they both had to downshift before they get to the top because they didn't know what to expect. They were just kind of like cruising along. I don't know what speed they were going, but they both struggled at the top. So that is one heartbreak hill for sure. So let me get this on and I'll keep you posted. Okay guys, change of plans here. I've got these rockers that were on the 1600 dual port. It was set up with a solid shaft. I happen to have these spare swivel foot. This is a little bit different style. These can test your patience. You'll see where there's the oil hole here on the shank. So your oil's coming up through the push rod, crossing over to the other side. You have to make sure that that oil hole is providing oil into the socket, and so it's critical. You can blow air through there. I'm just gonna fit them to get it tighter side to side, but you squirt oil through there and watch it come out. Make sure that you've got your geometry correct. Use spacers or whatever you have to. Here's some thinner ones. And I am going to put these Jeanberg chromoly standard length push rods in there. They have what they call the May West end. It's got the nice ball. More important if you're doing 1.4s or something like that. And these will be noisy. This is one of the reasons why I want to tighten this up. But this is the Volkswagen. You see the emblem there. These are genuine Volkswagen. And we're going to give them a try and go back to the test hill, since that's the only way I can really measure with my seat of the pants meter. So we'll keep it that. Okay guys, we're back on Heartbreak Hill Monday afternoon. Spent all day, put in chromoly push rods. Took out the 125s, put in 1.11 stock Volkswagen, and now we'll see if that torque curves come down a little bit. I had 425,000 lift before, and now I'm at 390,000. And this is our curve. So let's slow down to 35 and hit the corner. Nope. Nope. No way. I'm not going to downshift. There's a relief up here. We'll see what kind of recovery we get. I'm gonna have to downshift. Oh, that's sinful. Just for a little bit. Alright. Not gonna wind it clear out though. Boy, that is interesting to me. I'm going to go back down and do it again. First, let's get some engine temps. It felt like it was pulling better in third all the way up. Ooh, there's an interesting looking haze out there. It's pretty warm today. Might be one of those inversion things. Unless there's a... Almost looks like that when we got forest fires going someplace. I didn't watch the news lately. So let's get our temp gun. Well, It still revs to 5,000, and I think it has a little bit better low end with my seat of the pants meter. 188. 248. 203. 177. Boy, that oil filter's hot. 200. Sump is 196. 258. Running a little hotter today. Hotter outside too. Let's see. About 7 pounds of oil pressure at 1,000 RPM idling. That sucks. 1,100 RPM. That sucks. This engine never did do well on the oil pressure department. Okay. Well, the truth is the truth. And I told you I'd post the results, so I guess at this point in time, that puts the 1776 single port with the 1.25 ratio rockers as king. Now, without the ratio rockers, it did the same thing as a tired 1600 dual port with stock cams. Both of those had stock cams. So, depends on what you're looking for. Around town and grunt, man, you just can't beat a stock cam. If you want a little more RPM, a little zip out of it, throw in those 125 rockers, but don't rev it over 4,500 RPM. The way this is setting now, and I probably shouldn't be idling here with that power pulley on a hot day, but the way this is sitting now, this is probably like a cheater cam on that 1800, which is 74 by 88. Not very impressive on the bottom end, but she was doing better than any of those on this top part of the hill, and I'm surprised it recovered. I'm gonna go down and turn around and try it at just a little higher RPM. Found a little niche here in the shade down from our Heartbreak Hill. There was a cement truck going up the hill, so I know he's gonna struggle on that same section we were. He was just at the part of my test hill, so I'm just gonna kill a little bit of time here, run my thoughts through my head. It's a beautiful day. You know, it doesn't hurt my ego, it doesn't hurt anything. Knowledge is power. It's information. It's gold is what it is. You know, there's a lot of different combinations of things that you can do. I don't remember. Oh, I was gonna do a compression check. That was the one thing I forgot to do on this one, but I can do that tomorrow. It feels good. It feels playful. That's a nice word for the weight of this car and this engine. It feels playful, and it feels the same as it did when I ran it to Oregon and back. And it was on that trip that I started getting nervous about oil pressure, and I posted an oil pressure gauge install video, a long video, and gosh, that was just those video oil pressure gauges and sending units, and I replaced the unit again after I got back home. I went into a Napa. I had my receipt from the Napa in Oregon. They were more than happy to swap it out. That was pretty cool. And it didn't last any longer or work any better than the one that was in there before. And it's just not accurate. I don't know if it's the vibration of the oil or the ground or how that works, but somebody made a comment about shielding the wire, because I ran it in the fender well and went all the way up, and I ran it by the other wires. You can buy shielded wire, or you could how could you do that? Run it separately on the other side of the car or something. Run it away from any other wires. His thought was that it might be picking up some crossover. I don't know. But I'm happy with it. I think the way I'm driving now, I'd prefer having a stock cam and then one carburetor, that PIC 34 in the middle. Now that's not known for being a particularly, it's sensitive to dirt and debris for off-road type use. And I don't know how much of that off-road and stuff I'm going to be doing anymore. It's just too far away, and everything is getting closed down more and more. And, you know, with all those side-by-sides have just taken over, and they have their own play areas. And I think those are awesome little vehicles, but I just don't like the sound of it. I've been playing with Volkswagens for so long and become accustomed to that tone and that engine sound. I love it. I just love it. And I can't even hear the tire noise now. These tires are so, the engine, the carburetors make so much noise it drowns out the tires. Anyhow. I wonder what that haze is. I don't remember it being there yesterday. And it seemed like, you know, it's been moist and we've had a lot of rain. It's not like fire danger, but it has a kind of a dark tint to it. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. I kind of smelt something at one point when I was down in it. Might be nice to live up above all that garbage, but could you imagine having to see that and drive down to go to work in that every day? It's like, I don't want to go. Talk about motivation to have a business up here or work from your home, right? Anyhow. Oh, look at all these people are coming home from work as we speak. So, gonna get caught in traffic here. Okay, here we go, round 2. I'm gonna hit it at 2300 there. Show you what a few hundred RPM can make on your torque curve. That's pretty cool. That's good information. Okay, just to clarify this, we're back in town. We're at like 1500 RPM on level ground. I push down on the gas and it just picks up and goes. This is a very playful combination. I don't think the height of the rock arms really made that much difference. The lift. Yeah, maybe a little, but I don't know. what the cam is good for, so you take it from there, I guess. Head out and have some fun. But wait! There's more! I need a burrito. That's what I need.